Everybody, it is Tuesday in the summer, so we'll see how many people we get. I am Rich Tesla, and this is the Two Guys Tech Home Hour. Hold on, I need to put my flat billed hat uniform on, which somebody told me today I look stupid. And we'll talk about it in a bit, but Jason, Aragorn, Antitux, it's good to have you guys. We'll get started. Let's get the preamble out of the way because we've got some I got some interesting things to talk to you guys about. This is episode 60. This is June. I wrote the 32nd, but it's the 23rd. I don't know how to type. 2026. This is the time to hang out and talk about Home Lab, ask questions about any of the video stuff, and, just hang out with like-minded people and kind of just hanging with my friends here, right? I get 2 times a show to talk about the Discord, the community. So number one is we have a vibrant community behind the scenes that is really my pride and joy of all this. So if you're looking for a place to hang out and talk about technology, Home Lab, occasionally there's some political conversations, all in good fun. You can join. It's totally free, and we'd love to have you. After the show, speaking of the Discord, I will shut all this down. I will tear it all apart, and I will go back to my desk, and I get on and hang out in kind of an after-hour show where we talk and talk over each other and have a good time learning about each other's days and what's going on, what hypervisor you may or may not have switched to. Kevin's in the chat. Kevin, good to have you. Anyway, also, I've got Brandon behind the scenes, turning the knobs, pressing the butos. I keep looking around like I'm trying to figure out what to say here. So if the show goes well, it's because of Brandon. And if it goes terrible, well, it's because of me. Yocto, got Yocto in the chat too. Great. Okay. So I like to start things off with a personal story, and I have 3. So, we'll start with the first one. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and for those of you who don't, I grew up in Wyoming, if you can believe it. And so in Wyoming, you got lots of nature all over the place. Like you've got mule deer and white-tailed deer, and you've got like miscellaneous critters. But Oregon, you don't see a lot of that in the cities, in the towns, right? But we have raccoons, and apparently one was in my backyard and got into a tussle with my small dogs. They're fine. But it was touch and go in terms of like, having to give them baths because they smelled bad. And it was a bad deal. I felt worse for the raccoon who didn't survive and escape. So this is not a ASPCA moment. So you don't have to call PETA on me or anything like that. Anyway, that was the first time these animals that my pampered corgis have ever experienced nature. And they got their asses kicked, if I'm being blunt. 1 raccoon, 2 corgis. Who do you think won? It was the raccoon. Raccoons are scrappy. Anyway, trash pandas. That's right, Jason. The other thing, which was probably more like in line with technology, is on, I guess it was Saturday night or early Sunday morning, my SmartThings hub that runs all of my stuff, the automations for turning on the lights here in the studio and doing all this kind of stuff, well, it died. And it was, I had that hub for a long time. And I am interested to know what you guys think about my decision, what I went with. I sat down and was hanging out with a friend of mine having beers and told him about like the drama of now going through my whole house and finding every single sensor and open, I mean, I have Zigbee and Z-Wave light switches and sensors and all that junk all over the place. And I was just really, really, really unhappy about the fact I was having to go through and deal with all that. So I decided to go with this brand. Throw it up on the screen here. After being compelled, I was told that Home Assistant is the way to go. So, rubbish. Yocto calls me. Yocto said, I've been wanting to know if in Commonwealth countries they call them rubbish pandas. If they don't, we should. We should absolutely be calling them rubbish pandas. Anyway, a long time ago, guys, I was super, super into home automation because I really like the idea of taking a dumb house and making it smart, right? Replace the light switches, have awareness sensors so that, like, you know, like when I pull up in the driveway, like the thing I always told people, which I was always in love with, was like, watch this, it's nighttime. And I pull up in the driveway in my car and my porch lights come on to greet me. I was like, that is the neatest thing, right? I thought it was neat. But then the whole smart home industry just kind of cratered out. There was nobody worked together. Everybody was proprietary. It was all a mess. You know, you either were with, you know, this was heavy in the Z-Wave era or the proprietary radios like my Lutron stuff. But anyway, things have changed a lot since then. But I was into it. I bailed out of it after I kind of landed on smart things and stayed there. So Matter will come out one day. I think it actually has 2GT because like Matter will come out one day. I think it actually has come out because Home Assistant here claims that they support Matter. I had this box right here is their product. Now I could have run this as a virtual machine. I could have done it in a Raspberry Pi. I could have done all those routes, but like, you know, I just want the easy solution that's not tied to infrastructure so that if I'm working on servers, it'll just stay running and the lights will turn on and off and all that junk. So I got their Z-Wave antenna, which looks like a stack light. Let me find this thing. I don't understand some of the decisions that this company made in terms of hardware, our hardware. So this guy right here. This is their Z-Wave radio, and it's USB. It connects to the back of a device. And oh, look, as I zoom in, it gets better. That's a light on the top there. This is an actual like LED. So there's lights in the base, and there's a light guide that brings the lights up in there. And it looks like a stack light, and it's on top of my server cabinet. So now, for those who don't know what a stack light is, if you work in manufacturing, it's the little tower of lights that sit on top of a manufacturing machine. There's like a green, yellow, and a red, right? And they just are a visual indicator when something's wrong. So this looks like a stack light, but I'm still walking around the house. I got most of it done at this point, but I'm still walking around the house, hard resetting things because it's been rough. Anyway, I would love to know what you guys are using if you're into the smart home stuff. You know, let me know. Get in the Discord and tell me in the chat here or a future comment in this when it becomes a video. But I'd love to know. So it's oh look, it explodes, and then there's a big antenna, and there's some sort of like a little header there. Do something, whatever. Things are working, and it's been an experience, and I don't have much else to say other than. Smart home still sucks. Period. The end. It was not a fun time. But moving on. Let me find my things here. Oh, let's talk about this real quick. I made a video, guys. Look, you know, it's funny. This is the thumbnail for the video. Two things. One, I'm staring at myself in the teleprompter here so I can look at myself while I'm talking to you guys. So it looks like we're having eye contact, little fourth wall junk there. But I just realized, hold on. I'm trying to make the same look. I can't do it. But the funny thing I want to point out is that's my hand, but it's from a different video. Dai Chang said, supposed to look like a digital candle and hideaway somewhere. Yeah, I mean, but I have to move the thing, and it's all in my server room, server room. But I get it. It's really nice kit. We're still talking about this. This is really nice. Like the quality of this is very nice. It's much nicer than what I was using before in terms of like just the look of it. So they did a good job. And I couldn't get a hold of their Zigbee antenna, which is smaller. So I just bought a third party one that was compatible and it works fine. Anyway, so this video came out, and you know, this was something I've been working on this for like a solid 2 weeks, maybe even a little bit longer. Like I promised Brandon it would be out like a while ago, and you know, I got it when I got to it, but just because I wanted to make sure 100% that when I was working on this video that everything was accurate, that what I was saying was true. And I try to approach this from a different angle than previous. Like it's been 2 years. The Rich, who was the jilted lover of VMware and VMUG, has grown up and moved on. And you know, I said in the video, like time heals all wounds, as you know. And so, you know, I was an honest look at everything, including the pluses and the minuses of VMware and all the other ones. But Video's doing great. It's a good opportunity to talk about, how Nutanix and what you said, like all of these, like Nutanix, OpenShift, Proxmox, they were the kind of the big winners of the last 2 years. They grabbed the most market share in terms of, audience and dollars. Scale Computing still out there doing well. Verge.io has had a huge glow up year, which is great because Verge makes. I tell you guys, I have a feeling that give it 5 years and we'll be talking more about Verge as like a big shoe-in replacement that's competing with all the other big guys out there. XCP&G, HPE, Morpheus, OpenShift, and even Hyper-V, which Terry Johnson is not in the chat today to say Hyper-V. And I thought I would have expected that. I would have expected that from him. So yeah, so Doctor said the best marketing for OpenStack in the last 2 years has been VMware. That is 100% true. I think for everybody, it's been VMware. Like VMware, I end the video effectively saying something to the effect of like, them doing this didn't destroy the virtualization world. It kind of opened it up like I had hoped. And really, I mean, there's companies first, and we have someone made a comment in the chat or the comments about how this is the open market at play. I'm like, cool. Speaking of that, we got some comments. Some very nice people say nice things. I didn't talk about Harvester and Rancher because honestly, it doesn't come up. It didn't come up in any of my research either as like a competitor. It's just going through these. A lot of people jump to Hyper-V. That's the short answer. A lot of people move to Hyper-V. A lot of people move to Proxmox. Some Nutanix in there. I had some guy argue with me, not argue, but discuss that you could run Azure local in an offline mode. And I'm like, why? It's just Hyper-V at that point. Like the whole idea behind Azure local is to be natively integrated with Azure so you can move your workloads back and forth and be all Azurified. Azurified? TM, that's mine. And he was like, well, for dark sites. I'm like, well, then don't run Azure local if you're on a dark site. Use something else, right? But I did, this guy right here, this William YF, he did say one thing that made me think, like, I really did unintentionally build this whole video around like the United States and Europe. And I really kind of left out a huge part of the market, which was Asia Pacific and whatnot, in Africa and Middle East and Asia Pacific and EMEA, right? And APAC. And, because they show some different things because there's a lot of influence from China with Huawei and stuff like that. So that's a little bit of shortcoming on my part. That's, that hindsight being 2020, but I also wouldn't want to talk about that stuff because I'm not authoritative enough in those products. And honestly, I don't even know if I can get them here. Like, I wonder if you could get the Huawei stuff here, which is probably, I think there's a comment up here. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not actually running OpenStack that's been Huawei-ified. TM, that's mine too. Anyway, but it was good to see a lot of engagement, seeing where a lot of people landed, and that's a mix of Hyper-V and XCP and G for the win. So we got got good stuff. So plus it comes with your Microsoft licensing. Exactly. And Yocto said OpenStack is big in India because a lot of universities use it for teaching. Well, there you go. I mean, that's another good point to note, that then Yocto kind of reminds me like when I was a kid in like high school, even elementary school and high school, Apple was big, right? They in the schools, in the education system, they had Macs and Apple IIe's. I feel like that old. Like they just had Apple was everywhere in those schools, and it was somewhat of an indoctrination. One, it was legitimately being used for education and that kind of stuff, but it also meant that a lot of kids and teachers that they bought Apples and used them on their own. So I can see that being like a blending there. Like if you're being taught on these systems, you go out into the real world, you're like, I know how to do these systems. Let's do these systems. And I don't personally have an axe to grind with OpenStack, but I do think it is complicated as hell. If you're not a big shop, OpenStack is a tough push. I think we can probably all agree with that. But anyway, if you haven't watched the video, give it a look and see what you think. I love when people disagree with me and tell me I'm wrong. when it's in the context of the subject matter of the video. I got this dude today. Just like all of these people in here, you can tell like I'm pointing the wrong direction. All these people over here that made comments, they're all professionals. Like I can tell all these people are very similar to me. They're doing the job. They're working. This is their experience to talk about it. And then there's this one dude who's like flat bill hat, comfort hoodie sweater or hoodie. Basically called me an idiot. And I'm like, I may have written, okay, I'll be vulnerable with you guys. I may have written out like this, like I'm going to, like my response, I'm like, and then I'm like, no, not doing that. And, delete it. If I had $1, friends, for every single time somebody said something shitty to me in a YouTube comment, and then I wrote out what I thought was a smart ass or witty response to try to win that argument, and then deleted that comment, I'd have a lot of dollars. I'd still have to work, but I could probably work a much less stressful job. People are mean, and anonymity does that too. Anyway, but they're rare. They're few and far between. But yeah, it's good to see, really fascinating to see. Even Data Center Dude called out Apache Cloud Stack, which I haven't played with whatsoever. There's like the Cloud Stack Open Nebula / OpenStack stuff. It's just like, they all kind of feel like you could potentially lump them together into one big bucket of the same kind of like platforms, but I haven't touched them. So, okay, let's move on. Okay, Brandon, bring me to the main thing here first. All right, so Yocto said, let's get Yocto's comment here first. It's easier now, simpler deployment methods, but I always tell people, try and install it bare first because you'll learn so much about how services work and then tear it down and never do it that way again. And we did a video like a long time ago. I did a video with just doing OpenStack using Platform 9 as the development. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about, is that with Platform 9, they took away all of the heartache and the headache of getting it done. And when it was done, it worked and it was great. You still have to learn how to use it. And conceptually, its approach is different than you're used to in a traditional hypervisor, right? But it really took the pain out of deploying OpenStack. So I would say for sure that was, there are definitely better tools out there to help you get the job done versus, this is probably the wrong turn of phrase, but kind of like raw dogging it yourself. That's probably not a good call. Like use something that the industry has solved the problem for, and then you can get support for them, right? That's, I think, ideally the sort of deal. But I think that's just probably the smart way to do it. Anyway, you guys have been along for the ride. When I went and, everybody recommended go to Eaton. Eaton, never Shadow, welcome. When I was having the UPS woes, and you guys said, no, don't do APC, go Eaton, and I went Eaton, and unsurprisingly, it's been fine. It's been great. I went. You guys were basically right along for the whole process as they did, which is a good time. Nobody got electrocuted, and I put in that 240 volt 30 amp Eaton, and it's great. The 9P, what is it? Jeez, I can't even talk here. The 5K, and it's been great. I have no problems. Fundamentally, there was one thing that I really kind of there's so many all of a sudden it's like YouTube just caught up and I just got hit with 1,000 comments at once. So anyway, when I put in that Eaton, and it was all 240 volt, and they were all basically it was twist lock, and I put in C14 PDU to make everything connect. It was great, and I was like, okay, this is perfect for the servers. And I don't think I was at the time thinking rationally about all of the little odds and ends that I had in there, right? All the switching, all the server gear, all that stuff, that's all 240 volt. Technically, everything is 240 volt, if I'm being honest. But I have all these like NEMA 515, which are the typical US style plugs with the two posts. And that doesn't work with my setup because while those little wall warts are switching power supplies from 120 to 240, they don't plug into what I've got, right? You can't connect them up like you could with the APC. So I decided I was going to invest in a step down transformer, and I bought this guy right here, $629 with some shipping involved, and it was brand new old stock, right? So same generation of the 9P that I had, right? And so there was, and it just plugs into a 30 amp. Bought it, got it shipped. Took a while to get here. It came from the great state of Arkansas, and it showed up. Showed up yesterday afternoon, and the box is heavy. Like the UPS itself, without the batteries, is light. This was a chunker. This bad boy, I think probably maybe 150, probably a little bit north of 150 pounds. It was a big boy. That's fine. UPS delivered it. That's fine. I didn't do anything with it last night because I was doing other stuff, trying to get this damn video out the door. So today I opened it up this morning because I had some time. Like, this thing is not like, I already have everything set. I just got to throw the rails in the rack, put it in there, plug it in, and get my 120 volt stuff up and running. And I was super thinking it was going to be a big deal, or no big deal. And then I opened the box. And it might be hard to see from this advantage, but this is bent in half. This is the original, Eaton box. It's got the original straps. I know because I have it, installed Eaton at work. This is a little bit of a hard, it gets worse. It gets worse, guys. Just wait. Here's an angle, and you can see very clearly that's not right. It shouldn't be like that. That's not right. And the front is destroyed. The funny thing is, and this is the thing I'm not clear on, there was no real outward visible damage to the box itself. So I don't know if the box just flexed and this thing is down. I got more pictures, but you can see very significant dent. Obviously the lid of this chassis is just torn. Like, you can see the slider tabs there. They're just torn. Enhance. Like, that thing that ain't coming back. That is not coming back. And let's go over. This is it sitting out, and you can clearly see this is a bad angle, but it's bent. I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, this thing it's solid. There's no batteries. It's all a big transformer. There's a gigantic like transformer in this box. It is. Yeah, Shadow said $100. It got dropped off forklift, or it was just like yeeted off the back of a truck. I don't know like how you do it, but something legitimately bad. And obviously there was back here, you can see it a little bit, but this is the top of the styrofoam was pulverized. So that, I mean, it gives you a good impression that it didn't survive contact with the enemy. Back to the photo here, you can see, and it's just, it's. Let's get another shot of it, because I think there's just you can see the insides. I don't know if that's coming through well for you guys, but there's a gigantic coil in there, just thick ass copper. I'll get to Jason. Yes, I did contact the seller. I'll get to that in a second here. I'm going to squeeze every ounce of juice out of this first, and you can see more of those torn tabs. Oh, there's a chip in my floor. You guys, damn it. But it was wrecked, just wrecked. The front of it, the pieces, the bottom piece is all broken. You can see a good profile. Like, how does this happen? I mean, I genuinely want to know. And I guess it's dead, Jim. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. In this case, yeah, it was obliterated, just obliterated. There's another good shot. You can see, like, just, it hurt me deep inside. So I took these same pictures that you're looking at right here, and I went back to the eBays, right? And because I never have fear of buying anything off eBay, because they are so keen on protecting the customer that it's almost, I think, to some degree unfair. Was it marked fragile on the box, Shadow? No, it was not. It just had the typical sticker that said 2-man lift. There was the 2-man lift sticker on it. And I think you've been around this industry, you've seen plenty of those. Like, they even put those on server, like small servers, like 2-man lift, pull it out of the box. Yeah, so I never worry about buying things off eBay, frankly, because even if a seller's like, I'm just gonna, you can go to hell or whatever, I know that eBay will side with me 9 times out of 10. Thankfully, knock on wood, I have actually not been in a situation where I've had to do that, where I've had to be like, eBay, this person's being mean to me. And this time was no different. So I reached out to the dude, the person I shouldn't call, I don't know what their genders. I reached out to the person and said, hey, I sent the pictures. I'm like, it didn't make it. I was more professional than that, but I effectively paraphrased it as like, got it yesterday. I didn't see any visible damage on the box, opened it up and it is destroyed. And his response was, I will send you your payment back immediately, which was great. That's what you want to get, right? You want somebody to say, you know what? There's no refuting that. I don't even know how a normal human being could do that. Is like, it would be a Herculean, whatever, thing to be able to do that as a normal human being. Right. And then I responded, I said, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And then I responded back saying, hey, so do you want it back? And his response was great. Their response was great. Their response was, Aragorn's got to run this at 2.5 times to get the TLDR. And his response was great. His response was just, no, you can part it out and salvage what you want. and I'm like, I guess there's probably a ton of copper in this box. Like if I was looking to make some copper off of it, maybe I could do that. But like, it was just funny because the thing, I imagine it was an arm and leg to ship it, right? The shipping cost of something that big and heavy, even though it's already in a box and probably easily palletized, it's got to be, very, very expensive. Dare you to plug it in. As Antitech said, take it to a recycler, I guess. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I am open to suggestions from everybody in here if you've got an appropriate suggestion, because would you call this IT waste? I am in my head, I'm struggling thinking, is it IT waste? I mean, yes, it's used in a server cabinet, but it's not a laptop or a monitor or even a server. It's just power. So no, Shadow, I'm not plugging it in. I do like living. It's one of my favorite things. And so it has copper, so it's e-waste, what BK said. So Greeks Gamora, there wasn't, this is just a, this is the step down transformer. So it's just metal and wire and plastic, and there's nothing in there of any real consequence. But I don't know. I don't want to take it to the dump and do it. And I don't know. So I'm just gonna drive out some country road and just kick it out the back. Again, I mentioned earlier that I grew up in Wyoming, right? And it was not uncommon to be out on some dusty frontage road somewhere in the middle of nowhere and find a couch on the side of the road, or a washing machine, or even a fridge. That was sadly commonplace. So I don't know how much weirder it would be to see an Eaton step-down transformer laying on the side of the road. I wouldn't do that. I'm not that kind of person, but it's funny. I like funny. So take it to Batteries Plus and make it the problem. Again, I'll look around to see if there's an e-waste company, because there's copper in there. I know I can, let's go back to the photo. You can kind of see it a little bit here. You can see the shininess of the copper. I know there's a gigantic coil in that thing, and it's got really thick winds on it, like, 8 gauge, or, maybe even a thicker gauge copper wire that goes around, because it's a transformer, right? So you got coils for days. Dibs. Oh my gosh. Taco Lopez, if you would like it, I'm happy to arrange a shipping of this to you. Yeah, antiducts, probably mercury, sodium, lithium. Yeah, sure. Lots of heavy metals too as well. I imagine we probably Greek Skimore said in Kentucky area, the back roads have all of those things with pew pew holes in them. Yes, yeah. I think that's a rural America thing to find something like that. But Jason said the e-waste place next step in Eugene takes everything consumer electronics. There's one nearby me up here in a town called Sherwood, which is really close to where I live, and I would be my first bet. I'd probably call them first is what I'll end up doing and being like, hey, because I don't want this in my garage any longer than I have to. But sad day. I have yet to order a new one. However, the money did come back. But again, I have nothing but positive things to say about my experiences with eBay. You know, and I think like a lot of you guys, I'm buying like secondary market, like hardware, server stuff like that. And I think that those guys have legitimate businesses. So they respond, right? Even the dude for the GPU or the CPU that had legal troubles and didn't respond and then just gave it to me anyway, which is I still feel bad about that, but whatever. Not Kentucky Mike, gotcha. But Dai Chang said, how much is copper worth? When I went to Paris from London, the train stopped because there were copper thieves stealing the cables powering the trains. I don't know. That's a good question. Let's cost. I don't know. What'd you say? Rate of raw copper. Price of raw copper. What am I thinking? Rate. God, we're going to talk about this Google thing in a minute here, but copper price chart, historical data. This is probably the wrong place. What does it say? Is that dollars? Currently $6 a what? A pound. $6 a pound. $6.14 a pound. I mean, this thing is not pure copper, but there we go. I can just make some copper. I don't know. I'm going to e-waste it. Make it somebody else's problem. That's my answer. Boy, oh boy, the internet can give us everything. So that was a rough go, guys. Like I was all excited to get that set up and in there, and I got noped out on it. So that happened. Let's get to that's all that basically the stuff I've got. So let's talk about some news because there's some interesting things that I want to talk about. Greek S'more said, I've only had one thing on eBay not work, and it was a stick of RAM. But since I was piecemealing things together, I wasn't sure which RAM stick seller it was from, so I had to take the L. Fair. I mean, I can tell you many of my builds have been like generational purchases, and after a while, you can't tell what stick of RAM came from where. But let's get to the fun news stuff. So it's Prime Day. It's Prime Day, guys. Did you know it's Prime Day? You know how I know it's Prime Day? Because there's not been a single moment which I haven't been barraged by either Amazon or some third party saying, hey, check out our list of cool stuff. And by the way, use the link in the description to get to give us a kickback. It has been absurd how much external marketing and push comes from this whole thing, right? It's just, I am a fan of capitalism. What you see around you is because of capitalism in terms of like this YouTube and all that stuff. So I'm not saying I don't like capitalism. I think there's an argument about late stage capitalism and destruction of whatever, but we won't talk about that. What I mean is like, but the amount of just like in your face, buy this thing, you know, we make a little bit of money off of each click is sort of thing. But the thing I wanted to see here is one, you guys in the chat, it's Prime Day. Did you buy anything off Prime? What did you buy? What did you buy from Prime? I'm not even going to start saying, I'm just going to say Prime. I'm not going to say Prime. Anyway, Shadow said, I'm pretty sure I got 15 notifications and I've gotten from Prime to buy crap. Yep. Get it. It's Prime Day. Yeah. It's, did you guys know it's Prime Day? Flame mode on. Thanks, Dave. So it was nice to be able to pick up some new patches for my CGM sensors for a little bit off. I did a thing that we always talk about doing. And when I say we, I mean collectively, all of us in technology, where we go, oh, let's look at, I'm just going to click on something. How about this? 48% off of this thing. What is this? An Oura ring. Okay. So then I go up here and I say, let's just copy that. And then I go to like camel, not advertising for them, or advertise it, right? And I paste that link in there and I see, is it actually a good deal? And it's in fact actually a good deal. I you can see this. I'll zoom in here more, but no, enhance. You know, so there's some. I was looking. There are some good deals to be had. The one thing that I saw that it wasn't a good deal to be had, and I was laughing pretty good about it. I was like, okay, well, let's do DDR5. Let's just maybe there's some deals on RAM. First off, no, there are no deals on RAM. And how dare you even consider that to be a thing, that there might possibly be deals on RAM on Prime Day. It's, but you know, we can see, let's just, I don't know. How about this? 32 gigs Corsair. It says overall pick because it's got pretty lights on it. And then I went and, just to check, we'll copy this guy and we'll go to back to this price checker site for Amazon, throw it in there. And we're like, I mean, it's that. And I look at this, I'm like, yeah, the right time to buy that would have been right about, right. I don't want that. What are you doing here? No, right about there. Oh, what was that? That was a little after November 2025. And then, so this is, the thing is, this is not a deal. Well, who's got it for almost $300? Ugh. I don't want to look at this. I don't want more RAM. But needless to say, I don't think there's anything really here that appeals to me. There's 5% off of a laptop. Oh, do you want a phone? Anyway, I would love to know if you guys actually got something. RAM deals. Antec said Amran had their PT4C tube lights on sale for cheap. That's really the only thing that I saw. That's a good point. There is, because Antitux is a Twitch streamer, so he knows exactly what I'm about to say. Or anyone who's done photography or videography, or, you know, dare I say, done YouTube stuff on their own. At a certain point, something breaks in your brain, and all of a sudden you want better camera, you want better lighting, you want all this crap that I think has diminishing returns. Like there's a certain point you reach peak, but you as a videographer or as a YouTuber or whatever, you can't see peak. So I'm always like, I've got a really stupid expensive Amran cob light right here, and it's got a nice big, it's how I look so nice on camera. Anyway, it was affordable, but it was still expensive, right? But I only need one, but I want more. I would love to have more of these. Why? Because what if I want to put some accent lighting back here? I mean that's anyway, it's the thing. So it is just the thing. This is why we can't have nice things anymore. It's just the beard. You know, there's a thing called a hair light, which I have one on above me, which lights the hat so that the hat doesn't blend into the background. I learned these things. There should be a beard light, like a light underneath. Hold on. I gotta, this is, we're doing science. This is for science, guys. Where's my camera? So how's that? A beard light? Just to light the beard. Just a little bit of definition. Maybe. I mean, there's nothing on top. So why do I need a hair light? Anyway. So Anatuck said, don't get me started. I'm slowly getting rid of my big cob lights. I love them. I love my cob lights. Can't say. RG beard. Trademark. I want that. That's oh man. But I don't know. So it doesn't sound like anyone got any really fantastic deals. I did see some beard conditioner that I like on sale. So I'll get the beard conditioner, but I had hoped you guys would come through with some great Amazon Prime deals. This deal is exclusively for Amazon Prime members. Cool. Well, that's cool. Just want to see, when they say this is 5% off, does it actually 5% cheaper, or is they... I'm waiting to find this smoking gun. I mean, it's cheaper than it was when it was last done. Whatever. I'm not sure what this new versus Amazon thing is, but right. Let's move on because we're getting running out of time here fast. Let's talk about this. The thing that everybody the genesis for this conversation and the news around the Steam machine and the fact it's out or coming out here very, very shortly, and none of us will be able to buy one, or maybe we don't want one. That's kind of the part of the deal. There's a whole lot of people who are saying it's really great, but it's not worth the price. And and even I know that Aragorn is in the chat here, and remember he was talking in the Discord. Sorry to name drop there, Aragorn, but he had said something to the effect of I don't even want to watch the reviews because I know I want one anyway, right? And I went through and did all the reading, check it out. The price of this has gotten quite high since, if you remember, back in when Steam actually announced that they were making this computer, right? I wish I wasn't doing advertisements for people, whatever, that it was going to be a whole lot cheaper. It was going to be very sub $1,000. And boy, oh boy, has component shortages really taken it for a loop. So if you want a Steam machine, the 2 terabyte model, it's going for, or will go for roughly $1,428 US. And the controllerless variant is basically $100 less than that. The 512 gig version is coming in at a little over $1,000. And if you want a controller with that, it adds another extra $100. And so let's talk about specs, because I think specs are really important here. So this thing has a semi-custom AMD Zen 4 processor, 6 cores, 12 threads, up to 4.8 gigahertz with a 30 watt TDP, which is teeny weeny for a processor, right? That tells you how much they've kind of dialed back the CPU performance on it, because that's nice and cool. That's laptop kind of temperatures, right? It also has a semi-custom AMD RDNA 3 graphics card. I mean, it's I'm guessing this is a SoC, so it's an all-in-one package here. 28 compute units, up to 2.4 gigahertz, 110 watt TDP, 8 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM, 16 gigs for the box total, and either a 512 or 2 terabyte NVMe. Runs SteamOS exclusively, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, and of course gigabit Ethernet. And it's tough. It's tough, guys, because here, this is the thing they're talking about here, that originally there was estimates of it being around $730 to $750. That's quite the price hike, which hurts because we all want, we all, prove me wrong, chat, but we all have a soft spot for Valve in our hearts. I know I do, because I've been using Steam since Steam was a thing, right? We all were. So, but Dave says, I love it, but it's tough to love. It's got a face only a mother would love. Still, I did a little bit of research on my own just to see, they talk about it here too, but how much do consoles cost? Because this whole thing, keep in mind let's go back to this nice little photo over here. The whole intention of this was to be a living room. I don't want to call it a console because it's a computer, but it's not a desk PC. I'm sure you could treat it like a desk PC, but it's intended to be hang out in your living room and play video games with the controller and whatnot. And believe it or not, the cost of a PS5 digital edition today is $500. The standard edition is $650. I can't believe it's $150 for a CD or a DVD-ROM drive. That's bananas. And the Pro, PlayStation Pro, is $900. That's too much in my opinion. Xbox Series X digital is $600, $650 for the standard, which gives you that beautiful DVD-R drive or DVD-ROM drive, and the special edition goes for $800. So even at the top of this, they're more expensive, right? And you could say, and I would believe you, that it'll play all of your games. It's supposed to do it around 4K, but there's evidence to show that it doesn't do. That's not a blanket statement. It's not all 4K. There's plenty of 4K adjacent performance that it gets. So it's just tough. It's just feel bad. Hashtag feel bad, but it's where we are. So if any of you find people end up getting one, if you can get one, because you can guarantee that the scalpers will have bought up every single available unit the instant it goes live. But if you are one of the lucky ones, let me know. Let me know. I'm not going to buy one. I have a Steam handheld that never gets used, and I still just use my computer. So fool me once, shame on you. Anyway, this one I want to talk about because I'm really excited about it. I think it's very, very exciting. Oh, sorry. There's actually one other thing. This is the one thing that would make me want to buy it. Dbrand, and I'm not a fan of Dbrand. I know a lot of people like their cases and their phone skins and laptop skins. Not necessarily a big fan of Dbrand, but they make or are making, and you can pre-order now, a replacement case for your box, your Steam machine, that turns it into a companion cube. And this might be the only thing that would make me, yeah, you can see like, oh, it's just it just goes over the box. And I don't know, guys, if you are a Portal fan, if that was part of your zeitgeist and your generation in video game playing, this is the one thing that would. Oh, and Tuck said, yeah, he knows the guy with 3D printer. Yeah, you could certainly 3D print something like this as well. Matter of fact, that would be the cool thing they would do if they just released the STLs for it. Right? But and that they didn't really show. It's like boop. Feels like you should have to pay money to see that. Anyway, I think this is, if you don't love the companion cube, I don't know if where you are. But anyway, this is now something that if you do get a Steam machine, you can sign up to get this. And that isn't appropriate. I apologize. Yeah, I could. Aragorn says you could make a 3D printed companion cube case. Absolutely could. They went all out with their packaging too. Look at this. They even with the whole Portal panels and everything like that. The companion cube, poverty cube. What is the poverty cube? Oh, it's just. I mean, if it saves me some money, I think I would probably go with the poverty cube because this is neat and I like this, like the cool packaging, but it ain't worth $30. Anyway, it pre-orders now, ships in September. I'm not recommending you buy it because really it's just a box for $130. And if you're spending almost $1,500, I don't want this. My card is empty. That adds a lot just for something you could probably have a friend 3D print it for you. But now let's move on to this. Guys, I'm a proponent of AI. I'm sorry. I don't want to pretend like I'm not like happily using it to do stuff. My MeCritic Manager whole platform is all, it's all quote unquote vibe coded with Claude. And so I get a lot of good use out of AI, but I also love when the corporations out there who are trying to force AI into every single thing, into everything that we do and interact with, get a bit of their comeuppance. And Google, let me zoom this in a little bit because this is delicious. Google's losing ground as consumers seek out non-AI searches. People are actually moving away from Google search because when you go to Google search, we'll do it again right now because we were just there a second ago. If we go to Google search and say, I don't know, let's just do something fun here just for funsies. Two guys tech, that's me. It's not going to do it. Fine. Let's do something else where it does do it. What is the price of copper? Because we just asked that question. And you get this AI overview and it's at the top and then they shove all the actual information below. And if you're not paying attention, you end up in their AI hell. And especially on a mobile version, they force it on you. People are not happy. I'm not happy. I don't want, to be clear, I don't want any of this shit. I want to just be able to search for stuff the way it was intended back in my day. And I'm not alone. People are leaving and they're moving over to DuckDuckGo and others. I got some fascinating examples. So install rates for the DuckDuckGo browser search engine browser plugin have jumped as much as 40% in a week. Microsoft Bing, and by the way, friends don't let friends use Bing. You don't. Microsoft Bing has logged 1 billion users for the first time in its last quarter. So people are leaving Google for Bing, which actually feels really like, it's still better than being forced. Be clear, Google still owns 90% of the share or the search market. So let's not pretend like this is like Google's going down, guys. Get them torches and pitchforks. But I'm telling you, it's really nice. The thing that I didn't even know existed, because I've just been grinning and bearing it with the force of the AI on us with Google, is that DuckDuckGo has a noai.duckduckgo.com that, let me put the period off there. And this is AI-free search. So when you search for things, they promise you no AI-assisted answers, no AI-generated images, AI featured suggestions. This is all just straight internet search goodness. And I gotta say, I'm happy. I'm down. I'm down for this. Darth Fike says, I Bing all the time, lol. Again, yeah. I wonder what would happen if you just walked into a mixed conversation with people and they're like, oh yeah, have you been using that great browser search engine, Bing? Bing's great. And you look at them and you try to be serious. That's the tough part. The tough part is the delivery. Like, you gotta look like you mean it. I'm just saying. So I saw this and it's genuinely got me interested, because like I said, we look at this, I'm just tired of the AI, everything. Ask anything. And then it's like, okay, like, how do I turn off AI suggestions in Google search? Why don't you tell me how to do that? And it has to search the internet. Google does not provide a direct native toggle switch to completely disable AI overviews or suggestions in your account settings. That's right. Because you can't turn it off. You are stuck with it, because this is what Google wants. So I'm just going to say it, because I think it's worth saying. I love when unilateral decisions like this get made by companies and people respond by taking their business elsewhere. I don't think this is going to end AI. I think that there's an appropriate use for AI in lots of places. I'm a big fan of it, but I'm also a big fan of not being forced to use it when I don't want. Let me and you, let us together go to the thing when we want to use the thing. Search the search engines, give people the search links to the websites, to the blogs that they have written, assuming with not AI, if you're using the no AI version. Like, go do those things. Don't basically summarize the suggestions or the results that you found and then give you a summarized version. There's no reason. I'm a little bit of an axe to grind with this. Brandon and I talked about it in the last podcast, because, like, what's the point of making anything if your access to people is going to be done through the filter of an AI system that summarizes and gives you the distillation of it? The short answer is there isn't one. That's what I'm saying. But Greek Skimore said, I hate that I just used Google as a verb. Yep. We got to work on it. We need some sort of agnostic word that means search, whatever that might be. How do we search the internet? I'm not sure, but that, I would ask you guys in the end, like, do you think this effectively will make them change? Because there's a huge backlash for AI. I know there's a big backlash for AI. I'm backlashing against AI. It's inappropriate, forcing upon all of us, but I don't think they're going to change. Do you think they're going to change? I don't think so. The word is search. Thanks, Aragorn. How do I search? I need to go to the search. I think we need something that's catchy. We need to workshop this, guys. We need to get a bunch of focus groups together, and we just need to come up with a new word that collectively means search, but sounds like a company name that we can all get behind, right? That's just it. The chat's off the hook. All right, let's bring this to a close because we're getting close to time. And guys, it's always my honor. It's always my pleasure to hang out with you and do this. We'll do it. We won't do it next weekend. I am sorry to say. Well, I'm not sorry because I'm going to go on. It's summertime here in the northern hemisphere, and me and the family are going to take a week's vacation over the holiday. That basically the week, and then tail end into the U.S. 4th of July holiday. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. So last time, go join the Discord. We're going to hop over there and do our after hours hangout and grep. Yeah, actually, Dai Ching's right. We should just grep. That's a good one. I just want to grep the internet. I don't want to search. We're just gonna grep. All right. Anyway, so we'll leave it at this, guys. If you want, come over, hang out in the After Hours Discord and chat. If not, we will catch you on the next one. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm trying to find the non-thing here. There we go. As always, thanks for watching. Stay safe. We'll see you on the next one.